Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar where I'll be discussing on how to network internationally. It's quite easy to network internationally compared to many years ago when I first started networking. And this is mainly because of the internet and various social media platforms. So today I'm going to go through a little bit of foundation about networking, which if you've been on these webinars before, you've probably seen a little bit about it in a couple other webinars. And then I'm just going to show you an example of how you can use LinkedIn to network internationally with people and some of the do's and don'ts when discussing. So there's a little bit about me. I moved to Australia in 1994, so I've been here for 24 years, very happy. And I founded the WISE Academy, where I'm still a director, and also I'm the CEO of iPledge, which is a crowdfunding platform as well as a small boutique fundraising consultancy. I'm a part-time lecturer at Kaplan Business School, and I also chair the IT Forum here on the Gold Coast. I have a very broad background. I did a little bit of acting, just totally amateur, some journalism, sport coaching, fitness, massage, corporate health, and more. And this background, I would say, has really helped me in my networking. And through the networking, I've actually also learned a lot about various industries, mainly because I ask appropriate questions. Firstly, what is networking? So networking is cultivating mutually beneficial give and take win-win relationships. It's a definition that was coined by Bob Burg. When you have a strong network, you can create an endless referral system for your career, your business, and life success. And I found this to be true in my own professional and personal business relationships or personal relationships. And that key word there is referral. And so I don't necessarily think it's just important of how many people that you know. It's also how many people who know you. And at a deeper level is really understanding what the individuals can offer, and not so much from a business point of view. I like to actually get into a little bit of what makes that person tick, because when you are forming these relationships, many times relationships that can go deeper, it's not about what they can do for you or you for them in business. It's those little anecdotes that they share. They might be an avid dog lover or a cat lover or a golfer, or have a special interest in cooking or a certain type of food. And when you send them something, maybe a link to an article or a picture or name of a book, it shows that you're thinking about that person on a much deeper level than just a transactional level. So one of the key ways, obviously, that we can network internationally is through various social media platforms, and there's many out there. Obviously, one of the world's biggest one is Facebook, and then you also have Twitter. You can even network through YouTube and many, many other platforms. The one I'm going to be focused on today, though, is LinkedIn, mainly because that's the #1 professional one, and there's many ways that you can engage with people from an international basis. I mean, you can do that with Facebook as well. I just find it a lot easier to do it via LinkedIn. Other ways, as I said, you can use business and social networking sites. Conferences are a fantastic one to increase your networks. I believe, too, that we still cannot discount face-to-face seminars and conferences, etc. And when you go to another country for a conference, you gain very much insight, not only about the culture of that place and many contacts internationally. You also get to have a face-to-face discussion before you leave, go home, and then continue the conversation in the virtual world. Discussion lists and posts are fantastic. We see this through LinkedIn. We also see it through Facebook. Facebook is very engaging when it comes to these posts on various pages. And the most important thing when we talk about international networking is we need to be aware of the cultural differences. That can include language, that can include certain jargon that we say. I know that, well, at least from my own experience, I have said things where I've written things in a post that somebody has taken totally the wrong way because they could not hear my intonation or the sound of my voice or how I was delivering it, the tempo, etc. I don't have that luxury when I write that. And for those of you on the webinar, some of you may have experienced a similar thing as well. So as I said earlier, it's not just about who knows you, but who you know, but who knows you, right? So I can have a whole stack of business cards, which I'm looking at right now, and I can go through, and if I don't remember the person's name, they obviously have not made an impact. I try to write notes on them to remind me of what setting I met them in, and also how I can help them. And I'm hoping that they would remember who I am and how I can help them as well. But when you come across and meet so many different people online and face-to-face, it is quite challenging to keep everybody, in a sense, at top of mind and what they're good for. If you want something from a connection, first determine what you can do for them. And this is really important. And one of the things I find that people, especially on LinkedIn, do, and it's one of my pet peeves for sure, is that they'll do a reach out and you can tell that they've written a very stock photo and they've sent it through the email thing with LinkedIn. Well, if they're just sending out a blank, constructed email and they haven't really looked at my profile and thought about how can I actually help this person, then they're not really personalizing it. And I would question how much they're going to personalize their solutions for me if I would actually take them on as a provider or as a service provider. So take some extra time. It really becomes quite powerful when you take that time and you investigate what this person possibly needs. So let's go into LinkedIn. All right, so here I am into my LinkedIn page, and I'm hoping that all of you on the webinar already have a LinkedIn profile. Obviously there's many ways that you can link in with people. And, I've been on LinkedIn since 2006 and I have over 3,500 connections. And I can guarantee I don't know who all of them are. Well, what I can do is if I do need to find somebody, I can go into my network and look at my connections and I can see all. Now, LinkedIn changes things every once in a while. I can search with filters. So I can filter people by first, second, third connections. I can use a keyword. So I might want to put it in their title. So maybe I'm looking for somebody in marketing. Right? I still have now down to 144 results. I can go, is there anybody in, let's say, United States? Okay, because I'm in Queensland, Australia. And maybe I'm wanting to connect with somebody in the US because I'm going to expand my business there and I really want somebody on the ground over there. So now I'm down to 22 that have something to do with marketing. So here I can now go through, and they're all my first connections, which means that I have some type of relationship. And then I can go through and see which ones are in a consulting role. And that might be a good match. And then what I can do is then, because they are my connection, then I can, let's say, okay, so I know Dennis. I can click on that. He's in Philadelphia area, and then I can message him, right? Now that's one way. But say if I was looking for somebody and I'm not quite sure how many people I have in that network. So currently, for one of my businesses, I am looking for somebody in the aviation industry. I'm just going to type in aviation, and I don't have any results. So here's where I can go into here in aviation. Okay. And I can scroll down here and you can see there's a lot of results. And let's say I'm in the US and I want to see if there's anybody in aviation in Australia. Now I can go down and I'm going, okay, well, do I have any first connections? All right, I do have some, but they don't seem to be directly involved. Actually, Mike does. He might have some people. So there are some people there that I can tap into, right? Then all I do is just send them a message, right? Which is really important. So that's a very simple thing of how to network internationally, and also asking people if they have anybody that they can help. Now, the other great thing that I think, on LinkedIn is groups, and you can see this on other networking, on other social media groups as well, or platforms, I should say. Right? Groups are fantastic here on LinkedIn. I can look for various groups. One of the countries that I'm quite interested in is India. So I've joined a few groups in India, the Investors Network, because I'm doing stuff with the angel community here in Australia. And I can go into that and I can start to follow the conversations that they're having. I can see if it's a very active platform. This one doesn't seem that active. It's only like the last time somebody posted was 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago. But I can discover other groups as well. Okay. So I can go back to LinkedIn, go into my search, go into, let's say, India business. I can click on groups, and there will be my list of groups that relate to India here. So then from there, you can see there's quite a lot of them. Can type in another word if I can type it correctly. Now I'm down to 32 results. So now I can go in to this group and see who else is in it. Any of my connections there. I can read a little bit more about the group and to see if it's a good match. And then if I want, I can join. Maybe I want to start doing something in, let's say in China. That's another one that people want to start having connections in. I can go to the groups there, and same thing. Look to see how many results. Right? China business, that one looks like a pretty good one. And then I can see who owns it, which of my connections are part of that group. Once again, I can look, what is this group about? Right. then I can go and ask to join. So these are some ways that I can network internationally, and it's about starting a conversation. Things I would do is, if I found a person on the group, okay, so here's a person, he's in India, I would go to his profile, or the person's profile who you're looking at, and read their summary to see what the person is interested in. See if there's any mutual connections, because when you have a warm introduction, they're more likely to continue a conversation with you. See what kind of activities, what the person has been writing about. Also see how many followers he has or she has, what kind of posts they do. You can get a lot of information about the person. Right? So once you're getting this information, then you'll have a better understanding of, is it appropriate to network with this person? So he's in the wellness industry. I can look to see what else he's done. He's also an investor and business advisor, obviously in the fitness solutions, healthy world. So he has a background very much so in health, wellness, and fitness. So if I'm looking to maybe expand my company into India, in that area, obviously he's a good connection. And then I can start reaching out and saying, look, I've read over your profile. Seems like we have some commonalities in the health and fitness area. Also, I saw that you were an investor and business advisor for FitHeart in the fitness solution. I'm currently working with angel investors here. So I'm giving you the gist of the conversation that you can have with the person, because then I can go up and message, and that's where I start to do the messaging. Very important, though, when you network internationally, the relationships are extremely important, and that conversation that you start off with is very important as well. Do not start off with like some kind of sales pitch in wanting to network. That's not true networking. All that is selling and looking for lead generation. So that gives you a little bit of introduction on how to connect internationally, once again, using the platform of LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your time and attention. There's my information if you'd like to keep in touch with me. I'm more than welcome you to go to LinkedIn, search my name, and connect with me on there, and we'll keep on networking. Have a great day.